welcome to my channel. Self-talk is really important if you like to better yourself, you like to release your stress, for example. So today I have invited an expert in self-talk as well as in hypnotherapy. And by the way, before I welcome him to our screen here or to our talk here, remember to check my website, confidenceperformance.com. If you'd like to have a free course in self-defense or basic taekwondo, check out the free course within or inside the website. It is called confidenceperformance.com/free course. And here you go. Are you ready to listen to an expert? He's from London and he has been an expert in hypnotherapy and he has been helping people transform their life through self-talk. So his name is Chung Towers. We're going to welcome him. Ta-da!
Hello, Sarah.
Towers.
Lovely to meet you. Thank you for inviting me to have a conversation with you.
Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and expertise to all of us. And I myself learn from you too. I'm sure I'm going to benefit a lot from today and your sharing and your knowledge. And by the way, may I ask you to introduce yourself to the audience, because I hope that you're going to tell them better than me. I do not want to introduce you and miss some important information. Thank you.
Okay, I will do. Thank you, Sarah. So my name is Chung Towers and I live in London in the United Kingdom. And for the last 20 years, I've been working as a hypnotherapist. And my area of specialization is I help people to transform the quality of their self-communications, their self-talk, the way they speak to themselves about themselves. Over the years, I've helped many people who have been through a variety of different kinds of trauma. Sadly, I've worked with many people who've been raped or sexually abused or in very abusive, violent relationships. But then on the other hand, I've also helped people who have just been dealing with general anxiety, lack of self-worth, people who've picked up the habit of telling themselves they're not good enough. It's an incredibly common theme that I've worked with over the years with people. So, people have come to see me in many different states of broken. Very often they haven't known what else to do. They may have been to see various other therapists, which may or may not have helped them. In some cases, it may have confused them even more. So people have tended to come to see me for help when they haven't known what else to do. But they realize that they're so fed up of feeling how they've been feeling that they really want to change. And so the method that I was taught, which I've been basically sharing with people in the work I do, was taught to me by my teacher. And I studied with this gentleman whose name was Vernon C.F. Bell for the last 4 years of his life. Vernon was very famously known as the founding father of the British karate movement. He was the first Englishman to be awarded a black belt in Shotokan karate in 1957. And he was the founding father of the British karate movement. But he was also a very experienced hypnotherapist and a founder member of the oldest regulatory body for hypnotherapy in the United Kingdom called the British Association of Therapeutic Hypnotists. And he founded that in 1951. So Vernon was my friend first and foremost, and he helped me. I never wanted to be a student of hypnotherapy, but he one day asked me a question. He said, do you or do you not wish to study hypnotherapy with me? You don't have to answer now, but before you leave here this afternoon, I'd like you to either give me a yes or a no. And I realized after several hours that I was trying to come up with a reason why I would say no. But then I realized I respected him too much to give him a poor excuse. If I was to say no, it would have been disrespectful. And so the only reason I said yes was because I respected him too much to say no for a very silly reason. But I didn't realize what I was in for. And so I studied with him for the last 4 years of his life. And during that time, he helped me to identify very unhelpful beliefs that I'd picked up about myself because of things I'd experienced in my past. And the habits that I'd built up of telling myself very, very self-limiting and self-abusive stories about myself. And I did that unconsciously for 20 years of my life until he helped me to, first of all, identify the habits and patterns and unhelpful beliefs that I'd picked up along the way. And then he helped me to understand how to let go of the habit of speaking to myself in those ways. And what he taught me totally changed my life. It turned my life around for the better on every level. So for the last 20 years, I've been sharing the understanding that he passed on to me with the people who've come to see me for help.
It's good to have the hypnosis skills. I learned that when I was in my sports psychology class. That was a long, long time ago. And we were asked to do some meditation and imagery or visualization. I am very interested to know more about it and what is the relationship between hypnosis versus visualization and mental imagery. They're the same. I know mental imagery and visualization, they're the same. Some people said no, but so what is the relationship between hypnosis and visualization and also meditation? So meditation, visualization, and hypnosis.
That's a really, really great question. That's a wonderful question. Mm-hmm. Thank you. So I would say that personally, I don't like the term hypnotherapy or hypnotherapist.
Okay, good to know.
But when people have contacted me for help, I've said this to them straight away. Yes, I am a hypnotherapist. This is how I'm trained and this is how I work. However, I prefer to describe what I do is I help people to harness the creative power of their imagination to transform their perspective on themselves and the experiences they may have had in the past. So hypnosis, really, a hypnotic state is a state of like a trance-like state, but people mistakenly think it means that we detach somehow. Mm. If anything, it's the opposite. A hypnotic state for the purpose of therapy allows the person's mind to become very, very singularly focused and also highly creative as well. So it allows us to access the creative power of the imagination and to harness it so that our imagination serves us rather than we being a slave to our imagination. Because very often when we're not taught how to utilize the imagination, it can be a little bit like a runaway horse, and we're suddenly on top of a runaway horse being dragged all over the place in our imagination, very often imagining the worst. So the use of the harnessing of our creative imagination through a hypnotic state enables us to bring our imagination under our control so that we use it like a tool to create change in the way we perceive ourselves and the way we perceive the experiences we may have been through in our past. Meditation really is there are so many different ways to meditate. The focused mind, the harnessing of our mind to focus on a particular thing. It could be, for me personally, I've been practicing and studying Qigong for the last 37 years. So meditation on the breath, meditation on posture, meditation on balance and counterbalance. And I know these are things that you have great experience in yourself from your experience in Taekwondo. Yep. Meditation on timing, distance, all of these things are going to be very familiar to you, I have no doubt.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yes, very familiar. Yeah, you need to know the distance, the reaction, a lot of estimation, a lot of prediction in advance.
Yeah, meditation on our ability to sense and feel.
Exactly. That's why I actually really like visualization, imagery, or as you don't like to use the hypnotization, because people tend to think that hypnotization you actually attach from your body, and that's for some people it sounds kind of scary. Yeah, that's why I prefer to use visualization. I like to use visualization because it makes me understand things a little bit better, because in Taekwondo competition, you must have that kind of feeling. The sense of feeling is very important. You must know how to predict by your own feeling, or through your training, or people call it wisdom or smartness, that kind of ideas or issues or things. So that's why it's good to learn from you and how you look at hypnosis or visualization and meditation. For me, they sound similar to me, but it's good to learn from you.
Thank you. Likewise as well. I think, if we're open-minded, then we're all each other's teacher.
Yeah, that's good. And how about meditation? Like, some people think that meditation is a kind of it's a technique by the Buddhism, or some people Taoism or Hinduism, or people who practice yoga. They tend to talk more about meditation, but I know many religion, they do talk about meditation. It's not necessary that it actually belongs to yoga or Hinduism or Buddhism. But in Christianity, they also talk about meditation, but mostly they mention about praying. But technically, praying is a kind of meditation. What do you think?
Yeah, I would agree with that personally. I think so too. Any method that helps the mind to focus in a particular way is a method of meditation. If it comes from any religious background, then each religion focuses on its specific archetypes and themes. And so the meditations appropriate to different religions, they may appear different, but the underlying mechanism is the same. Whatever the theme or the method of the meditation may be, it helps to serve for to bring the mind into a singular focus. It could also be not just the mind, but methods of meditation which are heart focused, which are about enlivening the heart's capacity to feel and to connect and to reach out in a compassionate way, in a loving way, toward the object of the meditation. If it's in a religious sense, depending on whatever the religion may be, the object of that meditation may be a devotional thing, like saying in Sufi meditation, for instance. One of their main focuses is on the meditations of the heart to facilitate a connection with divine love.
Interesting. It's a really good insight. Shin, how about you share your experience? What is the most important lesson you learned from your Qigong students?
Everybody's fighting a battle somehow, somewhere on the inside. It could be physically, it could be emotionally, it could be mentally. Some people carry a weight on the inside because of experiences they've been through in the past. And then they pretend, they mask it, they cover it very well. Very often, we don't talk to people about the heaviness that we may carry on the inside, because we have to get on with life from day to day. And sometimes we become very good at pretending we're okay, but we're not, on some level on the inside. And so I'd say one of the most major lessons, I would say, is in working with many people over the years, is understanding that everybody on some level have burdens that they've been carrying, struggles on the inside, lack of confidence in themselves. That's a most major thing. It's in the work that I do with the online courses that I teach via our website. We refer to this as the hidden epidemic.
Oh,
And
hidden.
it's a hidden epidemic because so many people around the world communicate toward themselves in spiteful ways, hurtful ways, self-doubting ways, self-limiting ways. And very often it becomes such a habit that they don't even realize they're doing it. And when we do that for a very long time and it becomes such an unconscious habit, it can create lots of tension posturally, physically in the body. People's shoulders go up and we don't even realize the shoulders are up. We slouch with the shoulders forward, get very hard here. And if we've been mentally or emotionally hurt in the past or through traumatic experiences, posturally what happens is the body very often curls up like this. We protect the heart and we offer the heart back as a protection, like a shell, like a turtle. Yeah, and we curl up and we protect our soft front body. And we do this unconsciously and it becomes a postural habit. And so with the Qigong, for instance, one of the main things that can help to address is reassessing our physical posture and the habits that we picked up along the way that don't serve us very well, actually. The postural habits that only serve to keep us tense and tight and heavy and uncomfortable and maybe in pain. And so if we can assess that and then make the necessary adjustments to allow the front here to open, which is the opposite of this closed posture. I refer to this as the courageous posture. Anything that allows the shoulders to move back and the sternum to open enables us to become more courageous in the way we carry ourselves, mentally and emotionally.
That's why power pose is important. People do power pose.
Yes, absolutely. My thing with the power pose is, I think that's great, as long as once you've ended up in the shape, you take the time to relax and soften on the inside. So it's not being held in tension, because then it's forced and it's somehow not natural. But you may have heard the saying, fake it till you make it. Yeah. So it's almost like we have to force ourselves into a better posture and then learn how to relax into the new shape.
Yeah. It is very important. You have to know how to fake it when you are in the competition, for example. For me, I learned so much about that, especially when I had injury, right? So injury is just part of the games in any contact sports. So in order to prevent your opponent knowing your injury, you have to just pretend or fake it that you are okay, fake it that you're strong, fake it that you have no injury, but inside you know what is happening, but you don't tell people. So I guess this kind of experience have been inside me for a while. Then you learn that it is important to deal with what is inside, as you mentioned, so that you can even learn more and transform better. During my competition a while ago, especially before the final competitions, I was given a lot of bandages for my injury, but I walked limping. I was limping, but I didn't want my opponent to know. I had to force myself to walk normally.
Yes.
But inside me, I know that it's really painful. So you use visualization. You use self-talk. You use I pray to take out all the distractions so that you are so focused until you actually don't remember your injury. You don't feel at all. So
Yes.
I only realized my injury after the competition. I said, oh, what happened to my injury? I didn't feel nothing. That's how important it is, right, to do certain type of mental training.
Yes, I absolutely agree. Makes a huge difference to the outcome of our performance in anything. If we can train our self-talk out of the habit of self-doubt, just letting go of doubt, the absence of doubt, then that allows us to be much more present.
I wonder how do we actually do self-talk? What is your self-talk techniques? For example, when people are in doubt, or when people are in fear, or maybe sometimes fear of failure, or sometimes even fear of success. What kind of self-talk and how to do the self-talk step by step?
Well, the first skill that I emphasize in this work is developing the mindfulness of self-communication. So the question is, we need to ask ourselves, what am I actually saying to myself about myself from moment to moment? And if we can identify what we're actually saying, then very often what happens is we identify the beliefs that don't help us, the habits we picked up along the way of communicating toward ourselves about fear, self-doubt, not being good enough. That's the most common theme. Other people are better than me. Yeah. And in competition, I'm sure that this is a major, major common theme. People worrying that the other person, in your case, in the Taekwondo tournaments, the other person's got to be better than the person is. And so if we can identify the stories that we've been telling ourselves that don't make sense to continue to tell ourselves, those things that would only serve to hold us back, then we have an opportunity to let go of those things. So I say often to people, how can we possibly let go of something if we're not even aware that we're carrying it? So if we can become aware of the kind of negative self-talk that we've been carrying, then we have an opportunity to begin to let it go. And the problem, you see, is it becomes repetitive because we talk about those things unconsciously. We talk about them in the present tense and the future tense. I feel, I am, I always, I can't, I'll never. You see what I mean?
Yep.
And when we do that, we drag the past into the present moment and we relive those beliefs, or we throw it into the future in our imagination by speaking like that toward ourselves. And we imagine a future in which we continue to fail or feel bad about ourselves or continue to believe that we're not good enough. And so if we can identify how to stop doing this, it wipes the slate clean. It allows, like for a blank canvas in the present moment, for us to begin to recreate who we are and how we function in the now, in the present moment. I hope that was clear.
Yes, it is actually very helpful, and I think words play a very important tool. I think I treat it as a tool. Words plays an important element in all sorts of communication, and even music. Even music for me, when I play music, for me only, I don't know about how you think. For me, when I play music, I have to make sure the music is very positive, bring blessing, bring positivity, bring positive energy. Otherwise, I will not listen it. Because if I listen to sorrow music, if I listen to negative music, a lot of swearing kind of music, it make me feel nervous. It make me feel negative, and I don't feel calm. So that I actually very picky in terms of choosing music. How about you? Like, especially in Taekwondo training and competition, I am really particular when I coach, even when I listen for myself, even for my kids. I have to educate them or students, saying that it is important to pick positive words in your music. If you have any negativity in your music, you have to let me know how you feel when you listen. Do you feel more energized, or do you feel sad? Do you feel sorrow? And how do you feel? It's similar to watching movies. I know I like all kinds of movies, but whenever I watch certain type of movie, for example, thrillers movies about murder, at the end of the movie, I don't feel good. Even though the movie maybe is a very life-changing movie, is a maybe true life movies, and you learn a lot of lesson from it. But in my inner self, I feel I don't feel the positivity. I feel scared. I feel worried, and I don't feel that positive. I don't know how to say that. I don't feel that positive whenever I watch negative movie. What do you think?
Okay. So when I was listening to you speak then,
Yeah.
I was translating everything you were saying into a metaphor. Everything you just described is a wonderful metaphor for our self-talk.
Right.
So say, for instance, listening to music which is very heavy and erratic.
Right.
That could be looked at in a similar way to listening to the internal dialogue we're communicating toward ourselves. If we've gotten used to shouting and screaming at ourselves that we're not good enough. Yeah, that's like listening to that really, really annoying music, which would just make us feel worse. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Watching a movie that's like about war, is a metaphor for listening to the conversations we would have with ourselves on the inside if we'd gotten used to the habit of beating ourselves up and being at war with ourselves, telling ourselves we're stupid or useless, or other people are better than us. I'm a failure. Nothing ever works out for me. People say these things so much, and it becomes such a habit that we don't even realize we're doing it. But that's like watching a movie about war and seeing people getting beaten and murdered and so on. But it's like we're doing that to ourselves on the inside in the way we speak to ourselves about ourselves. So there's a metaphor in what you just described there for the quality of our self-talk. And if we can change the channel, it's like rather than thinking, I'm not going to listen to that anymore, I'm sick of listening to that. So it's like tuning out of that, the I'm not good enough channel. Yeah. Or the I'm at war with myself channel, and then choosing to listen to something that actually nourishes us, or just switching that channel off completely, and then suddenly we can hear a difference. We can feel differently because we're no longer cluttered on the inside in our minds and in our emotions. Our emotions aren't stirred up because we're listening to the same old negative chatter. If we can clear that stuff out the way, it gives us a chance to settle ourselves emotionally and be present in the moment with a good feeling. And then what we do with this is up to us.
Yep, it's a really important advice. I'm not so sure if everyone experienced it themselves, but it seems that the war movies really sells. The murder movies really sell. Violence movies is really sell. Just for me, I like to watch Disney movies because after you watch it, the end story, the ending is always a good ending, and that make you happy. Yeah. So what do you think about fear of success? I know you mentioned that earlier.
Yeah. Fear of failure and fear of success, yes.
Yeah. So, fear of success. Mostly people think about fear of failure, but there is a fear of success. For me, for example, sometimes I think I do have that kind of fear of success. What do you think about that? How do you overcome that?
Well, I think it's a very common thing because if we become successful at something, then people will look at us as a successful person. And maybe sometimes the fear of success is that it's based upon a concern that if we're seen as successful, other people will expect more from us. If I'm going to be successful, then I need to continue to be successful in the eyes of other people. Very often we are concerned about how other people see us. So there's a question that I ask of the clients that come to see me for help. And I've asked this question of people very, very often over the years. What is true success? What quantifies success? Is it that we earn a certain amount of money, that we have a certain status in the world professionally, that people see us in a certain way, we drive a certain car, we dress a certain way? I don't think so, because there have been people who come to see me for help over the years who've been highly successful in business and yet emotionally and mentally struggling within themselves. For me, true success is the measure of our ability to let go of fear, self-doubt, unnecessary insecurity. If we can become successful at transforming how we talk to ourselves about ourselves so that we're no longer giving ourselves a very hard time, if we can become successful at this, then everything else is a bonus. Because when we let go of the habit of being spiteful to ourselves in the way we speak to ourselves, then so many other wonderful things become possible, because we're no longer worrying about the future or fixating on old memories of hurtful, upsetting things that may have happened to us in the past. Mm-hmm. It allows us to be present in the moment, and then what we do with the present moment is totally up to us. And then it becomes a really highly creative experience, because all we have is the present moment. And what we do with this is going to determine where we go from here and the experiences that we have from now. So fear of success, I think we need to, first of all, look at what maybe a better definition of what success can be. Not the external material things or what other people may think of us in those ways, but success on the inside, mentally and emotionally, so that we liberate ourselves. The work that I do, I refer to as developing the dialogue of self-liberation. And the website we have is the dialogue of self-liberation. So if we can become successful at communicating in a way toward ourselves which allows us to free ourselves, then this is what I believe true success is.
Very good point. You mentioned that you teach a martial art, like besides Qigong, you also teach Silat and other. I've trained some Silat and some Filipino Kali, but mostly Tai Chi, a Southern Chinese Kung Fu style called Five Ancestor Boxing. Oh.
And I am a student of a teacher in the United States in Columbus, Ohio, called Sifu Nathan Menajed. And I study Chinese internal martial art called Liu Hei Bafa, 6 harmonies, 8 methods boxing. Wow. Its common name is water style boxing. And I study what my teacher refers to as his 3 current tradition, which refers to his 3 main teachers and the different arts that they've taught him.
If people would like to learn more about you, how do you want them to reach you?
Thank you very much, Sarah. Our website people can check out is learntdsl.com. learntdsl.com. And TDSL stands for the Dialogue of Self-Liberation.
Oh, okay. Dialogue of Self-Liberation. That's good to know.
We call it TDSL for short, yes.
Mm-hmm. You also have YouTube channel. What's the name of your YouTube channel?
Get Out of Your Own Way.
Get Out of Your Own Way. Check it out.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. And we have an Instagram account which is also at LearnTDSL. is our Instagram.
At LearnTDSL. So check out the Instagram.
And a Facebook page as well is The Dialogue of Self-Liberation.
Good to Dialogue of Self-Liberation.
Yes,
Yeah, check it out. You're going to learn a lot. I'm sure you're going to be fascinated by the content. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask Mr. Towers or Shin Towers, or if you'd like to check out my channel as well, I have a website, as I mentioned earlier, it's confidenceperformance.com. For free course, you just put confidenceperformance.com/free course. And once again, I also have a YouTube channel, as you know, it's already there, and podcast as well as Instagram at Master Tara Chung. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Remember to share with your friends and click like if you think this content helps you a lot. I'm sure I have benefited from it, and also to check out the podcast and the YouTube channel. That's all for now, and have a good day, everyone.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Mr. Tower.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.